All right, better late than never. Welcome back to the Foundry live stream. I'm Brian Hill, and I own I Sell Words, and soon to be launching the Media Room. I want to get you guys recording. I want to teach you guys how teach business owners how to get started recording themselves. Um, Brian.
Yeah, I'm Brian Gesser, 531 Labs. Uh, we handle and help anybody fix their marketing and their operations within their business. Uh, kind of sort of like a business mechanic, right? Kind of
Right.
figure out what's going on, what do you got the holes or the leaks in your business, and then we fix them. We kind of drill it down to that simplicity.
And a small plug for Brian, because this episode is gonna be different. And we're gonna, he's gonna help me build out a funnel for the media room and do it in front of you guys so you guys could see it. And he gave me a couple of quick solutions, and it cut down like 4 or 5 of the steps that we were going to use. And so that's how effective Brian is when it comes to identifying that problem and figuring out a solution. So that's a plug
Appreciate
for
that.
that's a plug. Um, and as you can see, you guys, there's a link to the Foundry. Um, the Foundry is our school community where you get real insight and marketing insight from real business owners. And so if you're looking to get away from the BS, not have some 23-year-old who's never really run a business tell you how to the magic funneling hack that's going to get you all this money. If you're tired of that kind of content, join the Foundry, because that's where we're talking real business for real business owners. And in addition, and so um, in the same lane of the real talk, last week I think we talked about gear not really
Yeah,
mattering, right?
gear doesn't matter. And then what happened is Brian and I were going over kind of like trying to do this funnel thing live, and then kind of figured out a couple things that just sent him on his way.
Mhm.
And it kind of crushed our episode today. So we had to like put something else together. And then we started ranting about gear again.
Mhm.
And so it ends up that this episode is going to be more of a follow up to last week where we said gear don't matter.
Mhm.
But we want to go a little further, I think,
Right.
if I'm thinking correctly. And we want to say, use old gear.
Yeah.
Use what it's not just use what you got, but if you want to go buy something, and I'll let Brian go off here on a rant for a little bit, but
Mhm.
there at this point, the technology is where it is, and
Right.
it's diminishing returns at this point. So the same content I got on a camera, this I got it right here. This is a Panasonic. Let me get over here. GH4. This camera came out, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago. Shoots, and I'm going to spit out a bunch of technical
Mhm.
garble. Just stay with me here. Shoots 10-bit log footage. Folks, that is what these new cameras are shooting.
Right.
So I'm gonna let Brian go off on a rant here about diminishing returns and how buying old gear is where it's at.
Like you could go to like a KEH or B&H. There's a Adorama, all these places where they have used camera gear, and you can get that same camera that Brian held up for, was it less than $1,000?
Oh, that one with no glass, just the
Yeah,
body, you can probably get eBay or places like you're talking for $300, 300, 400.
$300. And I know that sounds expensive. That's eye popping for people that have never done the camera game before. But if you are familiar with dedicated video cameras or dedicated mirrorless or DSLR cameras, that is a steal. And you get 10-bit, you get open gate, you get that's a micro four thirds, right? So
Mhm.
you get access to a very wide selection of lenses that aren't
Affordable lenses.
of affordable lenses that you can get into. And that's what you need. Like you go on YouTube and you're going to see all these people, and their job is to market these cameras, right? And so you'll have somebody marketing some camera, holding it up, and here's a $3,000 camera that's brand new with all the bells and whistles on it. You're not going to need any of those bells and whistles. And again, I mentioned diminishing returns. A lot of older gear has all those bells and whistles. Here's an example. So for a long time, my live streams, I was using this. This is a Sony ZV-1. Okay. This has the same sensor as um for a while it was Sony's the video centric one. Was it the
Mm.
A7S3? This has the same sensor as the A7S3. The only difference is it doesn't have removable lens. So what you see is what you get. It has a zoom lens, but this works just as good. And if I plug it into the computer and put a dummy battery in and plug it into the wall, it'll run forever. I can live stream on it and everything else. And I think the problem is, people get so swept up in the brand new. We have to have brand new everything, that you think that you need to have this brand new camera to do it. This camera records just as well, um, there's going to be some caveats as the A7S III. Now, the A7S III is a full frame camera. So
Mhm.
what I mean, it uses more of the sensor. You're going to get more depth of field. And I'm gonna tell you something: if you're live streaming, or if your video is primarily on YouTube or TikTok, none of that stuff matters.
Nope.
Not a lick of it matters. And I think people get too caught up in this gear acquisition thing, and you don't need to. And I'm talking to people that are just getting into content creation and people that have been in it for a while.
Right.
You don't need the $500 mic. This mic I'm talking on right now is $70.
Same. This one is I think I paid 50.
Yeah. You can use a ring light. You can use a lamp that you're not using in your house for light if you need to, if you set it up right, you know.
Or just sit in front of a window. Like,
Right.
I mean, that's the point I think Brian's getting at, and I'm getting at with all this stuff. And I feel like I don't mean to say the same thing I said last week,
Mhm.
but I want to push you a little bit more to be like, okay, I get it. You want to do better content. Okay.
Mhm.
To get better content, you need gear. What we are saying this week is don't buy the newest, latest gear. Don't waste your
Yeah,
money.
don't waste your money, save
Right.
it.
And another thing I just saw on my desk here. This is I don't know how this works out. We were just talking about cameras, right? I
Mhm.
forgot this was on my desk. Is way over here. I found this at an estate sale, and this is where you're going to get at. We're to a point where the old gear is starting to come back up in price.
Yeah.
So I found this is a little digital camera, Canon PowerShot SD750, right?
Mhm.
I picked it up for like $2. Okay. This thing is going for $100 on eBay right now because
Yep.
this trend is in old digital cameras and whatnot. This
Mhm.
camera came out in 2007.
Point and shoot.
19 years, point and shoot. This thing even does video, and people are posting content from these types of cameras right now.
Right.
So I guess my point is, last week was don't focus on the gear.
Yeah.
Shoot with what you got. This is okay. All of you that listen and just went and shot on your camera, you started off, you're off to the races. Good for you. All of you that are still stuck in gear land that are like, no, Brian,
Yeah.
I hear what you're saying, but I want to level up when I'm shooting my content. I've been shooting content on a phone for a couple years. I'm ready to level up. We're saying, okay, that's fine. This is where you go. Don't
Yeah.
spend $3,000, $5,000, $6,000 on an FX3.
Yeah.
You know,
If you're looking to level up shooting on your phone, was it a Sony? There's Sony A5100. I can get them for. I'm looking at it right now. You can
Mhm.
get it for $163,
Yeah.
and it shoots 10. I mean, it shoots 1080, which is really all you need.
Mhm.
And it does everything. There's a lot of big time streamers that bought those, and those are their workhorses. They stay permanently plugged into their computer and stuff like that. The thing is, we're saying is diminishing returns, because here's the thing. So 4K, let's talk about 4K real quick. Let's talk about 8K.
Yeah.
I think ABC still does 1080. I mean, no, they still do 720, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't know. I know there's not a lot of 4K actual channels out there.
There's not a lot of 4K channels. There's not a ton of 4K movies that are live streaming, because 4K is a huge file size to stream to somebody.
Mhm.
All this content you're consuming, a lot of it is it's either 4K and it's downsampled to 1080, or it's just 1080 straight up. You do not need all these, high. You don't need to shoot the highest this and the highest that. Yeah, 10-bit color is great. I've used 10-bit color. In my one of my computers, my workhorse computer for video, I can't edit 10-bit footage.
Mm-hmm.
I can, but I have to deal with it takes forever to load on the computer and all kinds of other stuff. And yeah, the color grading is good and everything, but at the end of the day, when I upload it to YouTube, it's gonna be 1080,
Yeah.
and the 4K is gonna take what 3 days to upload. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And so
Staying in that same vein, these I bought these a couple years ago. They weren't too bad price. These are those little portable SSDs. I got lots of visual aids today. Apparently,
Mm.
This is a 1 terabyte SSD, and these things have quadrupled in price for
Yes,
some
they have.
reason. I don't really know the reason, to be honest, but where I'm going with this is if you start shooting everything in 4K, you're going to run out of space real quick.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, I personally edit off of these. I don't put the videos on my computer. I connect them and put them on these.
Mm-hmm.
But that's another reason you don't. I mean, shooting in 1080s is legit for that purpose too. It's too expensive nowadays.
It is.
You know, I have 6 of these things that I probably paid $120 a piece for. They're
Mhm.
now going for like $300-400 a piece.
So I got this. I can't hold it up because it's attached to my computer. This is an expansion drive. I think this is
Mm-hmm.
8 terabytes.
Yes.
And so that's it. That's all the storage I'm going to get for this computer. And if I go above and beyond that, it's either going to the cloud or it's getting deleted.
There you go.
I think, well, and I know one of the reasons is storage is getting expensive, RAM is getting expensive. You know, a lot of this stuff is getting expensive because of microprocessors and all that other stuff, tariffs, and then also it has something to do with a lot of these data centers popping up all over the country, and they're consuming a lot of this stuff. And they're telling people, if you're going to get this stuff, get it now before it goes through the roof, because it's going parabolic right now.
Mm-hmm.
The bigger the more complex your video is, the higher bit rate, the higher resolution, the bigger the video is going to be, and you're going to fill up a terabyte hard drive like that if you're shooting in 4K all the time. And so you don't need it. Your eyes can't really tell the difference when you're watching it on your telephone anyway. A lot of people, very few people, they're getting more and more people that watch it on the screen. I'm a nerd.
Yeah.
I watch YouTube on a big screen, but most people are watching it on their phones, or they're even listening to it. And we talked about that too.
I think it switched recently. I think
It is?
I think TV might be winning out,
Okay.
which is wild. Because I also watch it on TV. I'm just looking it up real quick. You can keep talking. I'm just curious because if it hasn't taken over, it's damn close. So
like I'm sitting there looking at scrolling through YouTube videos, and some of the top performing videos are shot in somebody's car or their kitchen or their basement. The gear ends up becoming a comfort blanket. And you get all these bells and whistles. You get the mic with the 32-bit float. You don't even know what 32-bit float does. You never really use it. It comes with a safety track. You don't use that, but it's nice to have. But you could have got a mic kit for half that price and saved your money and put your money into marketing and into buying ads for your stuff. Like, I think people are kind of losing track of it. And people are winning right now who just hitting record and using what they got. And I think it bleeds over, like this conversation bleeds over into marketing tools too,
right,
because there are so many marketing tools, and
100%.
and it'll bug your eyes out of your head when you're looking at all these marketing tools, because there's something that comes out every single week, and Brian can speak to this a lot better than I can.
Well, we can. Yeah, moving on to marketing tools. I still say keep it simple.
Yeah.
I've tried them all. I'm gonna be honest with you. I could list. Let's see if I can do a top of my head of what you actually need here for like if you're gonna do a full blown system with email and social media and web design, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can use. I would recommend a tool for social media called Metricool. Maybe we can supply links or something in
Okay.
later in the descriptions or whatever. But Metricool, it's a social posting calendar scheduler thing. There's a free version that's pretty damn awesome. The only hang up for me as a marketer for the free version is they only do stats for 30 days, past 30 days. So if you don't care about that stuff and you're keeping an eye on it on a daily basis, then it may not bother you. But that'd be my social scheduler of choice. So you need a social scheduler, you need an
Okay.
email platform. I've been using MailChimp for years. It's what I learned on 15 years ago. I just never left it.
Yeah.
Nothing's really changed. They can tell me there's AI. They can tell me there's this, that, and the other thing. I do text-based emails 90% of the time. So that's simple. And then your websites. This one is where I'm going to have to back up a little bit and go with the new stuff. The new AI builders. You can go to the places like Squarespace.
Mhm.
They do pretty well with helping you build out stuff. I'd stay away from places like Wix.
Oh
Um,
God.
you got stuff like WordPress and stuff, which is what I've been on for the past 20 years or so.
Hmm.
And I've gone away from that just because now I have these platforms, these AI platforms like Lovable, Manus, places like that I can get custom coded websites in literally seconds.
Yeah.
They may not be exactly what you want in seconds, but I can do a full blown website in a weekend that is like, I'm talking like I have a full CRM on the back end of my website in the admin section now that I built through Lovable that is rivals anything I can pay $1,000 a month for. Right? It
Yeah.
handles all my Microsoft Teams meetings, my Calendly schedule, my proposals, my deals, my tasks. It handles all this stuff I built in through Lovable, and that would have taken me years before, and multiple developers to help me get that done.
Shoot, I
You
might
know,
have to talk to you for a CRM because I am playing the CRM game and I went through Pipedrive and I don't want to go back to Pipedrive.
TBD,
Yeah.
TBD on if and when I release a CRM product.
Mhm.
I'll let you get first look.
Okay, cool.
But my point is here. So let's go back. Sorry, I get off track there because I like to talk about this stuff. Social scheduler, email platform, some sort of website builder. And what am I missing? I, I feel like I'm missing something. I don't think so.
Scheduling, emailer,
Website.
um,
As far as building
website.
funnels, like that's
The- Yeah,
CRM.
yep, the CR and the capture. So the capture side goes to the email, right? So
Yeah.
we're good. Okay.
So that kind of for most people, a CRM, the list of contacts in a email service like MailChimp or Constant
Mhm.
Contact or stuff like that can actually work as a CRM.
Yep.
Like, I don't know what else people really want in a CRM. I mean, some people get into that game of like, this handles everything. It shows me, gives me profile and personas based off blah, blah, blah. That's not who me and you are trying to talk to here. I don't think,
Right.
in the corporate kind of enterprise environment, you can use things like HubSpot that they're okay. But now you're piecemealing. Now you're taking away CRM and that database from MailChimp or Constant Contact or your email, right? Like you're
Mhm.
taking it away from that. Whereas many people are like, well, I use HubSpot for my CRM and then I connect it to my MailChimp, which connects that's like, dude, just use the email, have
Mhm.
a social scheduler, and have some sort of website builder, and you can get 99% of what you're trying to accomplish done.
Exactly.
And kind of where I led Brian today is, quite honestly, you're nowadays with the AI builders like Lovable and Manus and stuff,
Mhm.
you're able to forego MailChimp and just have it all in one encompassing. It's your own custom email system that sends out your lead magnets or your follow-ups or whatever.
Yep.
Where it gets real, where it gets kind of sticky is when you're doing a lot of e-commerce stuff with carts and stuff like that. But
Yep.
even then, I'd send you to Shopify.
You could Shopify. I mean, I know we've kind of dogged them out, but GHL Go High Level covers a lot of that, integrates a lot of those features too. It's not, it can turn into a game of diminishing returns because it has so many features that there's not one where it super excels at, but it's just good at all of them, and you're probably going to find better tools that you could slap together. But I mean, you guys, Here's the thing. I know, like my wife right now, they're going through creating a new CRM thing for the college she works, right? And it's all these meetings, and they have to get all these people on board, and there's all these different figuring out how we're going to integrate all these systems and everything. Your average business owner, you don't need a super complex CRM.
No.
You could manage it with something very simple. And I think a lot of times we get caught up in the bells and whistles. I think what was the one that Dan Kennedy used to push is Keep. It was a CRM. It's called Keep Now. It's KEAP. But before it was something else.
I went and did
Infusionsoft.
Infusionsoft. I went.
It was
back
Infusionsoft
in the day in San Diego. Yeah.
And I tried Infusionsoft, and I got in there, and within maybe 30 minutes, I realized I was in over my head.
Yeah.
And then I looked at how much it cost every single month.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't make enough to justify this cost. Let me go back to let me just do Pipedrive and pay this $15 a month for right now.
Yeah, for real. And you got things like Go High Level, which are relatively speaking better priced, I guess.
Yeah.
Than like the Infusionsoft from back in the day. Because I mean, they were up in the multi hundreds into the 1,200-1,500 a month type.
Yeah.
And all it was, folks, is a follow-up system. And I get it. Back then, it was technology wasn't there, and it's expensive to develop. But if you got to send me through a 3-week training as a customer in order to use a product, and then pay you that much, no thanks.
Yeah,
and I'm with you. Go High Level is actually good for a lot of other types of businesses, and there's tools out there that are specific to different types of businesses, right? What I'm telling you right here with these 3 easy things is like the bare minimum that you need. Like if you're a service-based business and a lot of your stuff comes through phone calls, what I'm telling you right now probably doesn't help you much. You need something that has a call tracking and stuff like that. But that's getting advanced, and even then, like you can use a Go High Level for something like that.
Right. I think the thing we keep seeing is people spend, like you mentioned, spending 3 weeks to go through a training to use a tool. It's crazy. And especially if you pick the wrong tool, because I think there are a lot of major corporations that pick the wrong tool, and it's almost like they got sold it. They signed the contract for this tool because the person that was the buyer didn't necessarily understand the needs of the people that would be using it on a daily basis. And now they're roped into this contract. And so now it takes forever to learn how to use this tool because it's not really built for what they need. But owners spend a lot of time trying to pick the right platform. Just like you try to spend the right time, you spend so much time picking the right camera. And sometimes you just got to go with the platform you have available and realize that you can always upgrade.
That's the idea here. And I think that's the point we're trying to drive home here is like last week was gear doesn't matter. Use what you got. This week, if you want to level up, don't buy the newest crap. Buy what you need to get the job done. And as far as marketing goes, like make it simple on yourself. You can always step your game up as you progress, right?
Right.
As your journey goes where it's going. But ultimately, I'd like everybody to learn is that it comes down to one thing. It comes down to authentic content, giving value, pushing people to something that you're trying to get. It should be mutually valuable, right? I'm putting out content and I'm not doing it for free in the sense of here it is. I don't need anything from anybody at all ever. No, I run a business. I'm pushing content. So it goes content to something you want them to do, and then you are holding a database of people so you can contact them again.
Yes.
That's the breakdown of marketing without all the bells and whistles and guru talk and all the bullshit that people spout all online.
You could do that. I'll be honest with you. You could do that with a Google Sheets attached to your website. You can capture that with the Google Sheets attached to your website. And then you go through and find those little automation tools like if this, then that. And what's the other one? Zapier.
Yeah.
set it up, and it could work like that. You don't need this because there's a lot of times, and jumping back on outline, there are people that build like huge businesses with a phone and an email list and a Facebook page. They don't even have a website. um,
Right.
you know, and then there are people that, they got $2,000 a month in software fees and this $6,000 camera, and the leads aren't flowing, and I know I've been there.
Yeah.
Where I'm sitting there like, how much am I paying for all this stuff?
I rather spend, $400 or $500 a month to have someone mow my lawn for me so I can have that time back than gear or subscriptions on software.
Yeah.
You know what
It
I'm
doesn't
saying?
make any sense it doesn't make any sense to spend all that, um, until I keep mentioning this, and I think, yeah, I've said it plenty of times, the minimum level of complexity, right? That's the
Mhm.
concept I lift weights with. I don't need this overblown, complex weight training routine. I need something that's effective, that I can implement, and it's as complex as it needs to be. And I
Right.
think we get too caught up in, all these winding trails, and this triggers this, and then it kicks you to the squeeze page and all this other stuff. And I love Russell Brunson. I love Russell Brunson stuff, but he is one of the progenitors of all this stuff
Yeah.
where
Well, here's the deal though, right? Like
yeah,
it's not that like that shit works.
it
It works
does.
and it's very effective. Our point though, I think to everybody here, Brian and I's point is that you don't need it,
Yeah.
right? It's not where you're at usually in life. Like you gotta to build a funnel with like all these upsells and downsells, and if you click this, then try to sell them this. If they say no to this, try to sell them that, and it's not necessary.
Yeah.
It's just not necessary for where 99% of people are at. I've been through those systems. I've set up those systems. They do work. They're effective, but that's not, you know, some people just want people to come in and buy food in their restaurant. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I'm not trying to down or upsell,
Yeah.
you know?
Don't upsell me fries. I already got them. I don't want any
Right.
more. And I think it does go into that. And like I said, Russell stuff is amazing. It's a great foundation for people that are looking to get into digital marketing and things along those lines. But and even he will tell you some of the stuff that later on the funnels get more complex as you add more bells and whistles to them. But you only add those different layers to that funnel when you need them. You don't keep adding complex, and it kicks you down to this squeeze page. And you can opt in here and all this other stuff. You don't do that unless you actually need it.
Yeah.
And I've used ClickFunnels, and for
Right.
me, my brain does not work with ClickFunnels. Like I don't know what it was about it. It does not work with it.
Yeah.
Like the way it works, and they click here and go here and blah blah blah. Maybe I need to go back and revisit it. I know that they've updated it a couple of times. Maybe I need to go and look and see something. But for me,
I don't think it's necessary for
yeah,
most people. It might be a hot take, but like they get a lot of us marketers. I've been through all those guys. I've run the
yeah,
rampant of spending my money on things I thought would help me when it really boiled down to like it says in our notes here, like right, like it really boils down to the clarity on your message,
mm-hmm,
who you're gonna help, what you solve, right?
right,
And doing that consistently and offering that and making everything an authentic transaction of value. I just found a new sentence for me to use. The authentic transition of value between two people. Like I'm going to give you something that you're going to like and need and want, and you're going to pay me for it because that's what I need and want from you and why I'm giving you what you want and need.
I like that.
Authentic transaction of value.
I know. What was
ATV. Here we go. Here we go.
Make sure you write that down.
You're yeah, I need to.
Shoot, I'm sitting there thinking, a couple years ago, yeah, it's more than a couple years ago, my wife and I ended up out at a conference for marketers, right? But it was marketers specifically for financial services, right?
Mhm.
And so we're walking around as a marketing agency and just kind of small talking. In hindsight, being 2020, we would have left with more numbers. But this is our first time doing the Vegas thing.
Right.
And the reason why we'd have left with more numbers is because of this. A lot of the people that were walking around that place, they were looking for an easy button, but they didn't know that they were the easy button. Like, I'm watching these people's minds be blown by these speakers who are just saying, you know what you need to do? You need to find a niche and serve that niche. Like, I watched a full stadium, a full I forgot what casino we're in, but we're in their largest conference room, and I watched a full room of people watch the guy up on stage, who had a multi-million-dollar financial planning business, and his niche was men and women that own tattoo shops. And you see him, he has sleeves down both of his arms, up his neck and everything. He was tatted up. And that's who he served, was tattoo artists.
Right.
And he made a lot of money serving tattoo artists. And he customized his business for cash businesses like a tattoo shop. So if you were a cash business like a barbershop or something, you probably could fall in under him too.
Right.
But he worked well with tattoo shops, and that's what he pursued. He was a financial advisor for tattoo shop owners.
Yeah.
And
I mean, that's good advice for everybody here, because I've been leaning into that a little bit as well, or figuring out how I can like niche down to a specific offering, even where like, because you're right, because I'm never going to say business is easy, but if you niche down, your financial planner, and you're niching down, you're doing tattoo shops, you can rinse and repeat almost everything you're doing.
Yep.
Right. And you become a very well-oiled machine as a financial planner for tattoo shops.
Oh yeah. And like, for a while I was kicking around the idea, maybe I should just be a marketer to or not tattoo, but maybe I should just be a marketer to financial planners. And then I realized that there is a kind of a unique problem with that. Because as a financial planner, you're kind of programmed to watch every penny, and marketing doesn't work like that. Like, you can watch every penny in marketing, but sometimes the gap between the pennies you spend and the investment coming back is really wide.
Yeah. And
And if
here's like, I've worked with a few over the years, and I've always been able to help them somewhat.
Mhm.
And it's mostly with sales and operations, because they have a chokehold on them for what they
Yep.
can say online.
Yep. And I did the white label thing, like where I made them start a generic page that
Mhm.
wasn't necessarily branded, and allowed them to show up as them, and it wasn't even tied back to it. And sometimes I would even step in and put in the stuff myself because I looked like I was unaffiliated with it, and that worked for a while. The biggest problem is, from that client base for me, I could not explain. It was hard for me to articulate why the ROI, why there was a gap between them paying me and then getting results. And a lot of it had to do with that specific industry is so tied to trust and rapport that you have to establish that well before anything else. And when you're in one of those trust building kind of ones, even if you're doing your own marketing, when you're in one of those trust building based things, it takes a long time to establish yourself as a trusted figure unless you have a brand behind you.
Right.
And I know if I'm on a tangent, but this is simple. This kind of ties into it. The best marketer I've seen in that specific sector is the Retire Smart guy. Retire Smart guy. He has a talk show that comes on every Sunday morning.
Right.
And they sit around and talk financial planning and retirement planning. And I know personally that he has more business than he can handle.
Right.
Because people see him on that show, and then they call the number, and that number, I'm guessing his back end. That number goes to either a call center, now probably have some kind of AI set up where it qualifies people, figures out how much money they have, and decides this is who you're going to work with, this is who you're going to work with, and this is who we're going to recommend out to somebody else. And that's the way it works. But people immediately trust him because he gives them information that they find valuable, and is the most basic financial planner information that you're ever going to find. But he just gives it and packages it in a way that people can understand it. And they see him on TV, and they see you on their screen. And it doesn't have to be TV. If they see you on your screen, tell them something that is valuable to them, they're going to build that trust with you a lot faster. You're going to bridge that trust gap. So
100%.
that is and it's simple. It costs money, but it's simple.
Yeah. I think that's what we keep landing on here. Every
Yeah.
section we keep talking about, make things simple, you
Yeah.
know, keep it simple, stupid, you
Yeah.
know?
There's no magic. Like, I think people get too jammed up in the fact that you have to unpack, and I even get caught up in it. Like, I
Same.
find myself asking ChatGPT or asking Manus or going through the internet and finding the magic words I can sequence together, and that maybe there's this magic archaic marketing knowledge that I'm missing out on. And more times than not, it's the very simple solution that I just keep overlooking. Like, no, that's too simple.
Right. Yeah. Niche down, give value, you know?
Yeah.
And yeah, I same trap, you know. We look for the old marketing Ark of the Covenant or something, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Like it exists.
Yeah.
Uh, it doesn't.
And you saw what happened to the people that looked in the Ark of the Covenant.
Oh yeah.
They ended up getting their face melted. And so
That's
I
what I
think
feel like after spending $1,500 on Infusionsoft back in the day. My face melted.
I did that. Well, I mean, you spend a ton to hire a web designer, and one of my friends does web design, and even he will sit there and say, yeah, they're not ready for this level of web design yet. They don't need all this stuff yet. They
Yeah.
don't need the aesthetics and everything. They just need a website that works. And their budget speaks to just having a website that works. Or they could just use their Facebook. I mean, you don't need a whole website. You can build a site through Google. I mean, they're not the best sites in the world, but at least it's something. As
Right.
long as your marketing message is strong, you can capture anybody. So we're saying all that to say this. Whenever you go onto YouTube and start looking up marketing stuff and camera gear and whatever, the person that is plugging this thing and telling you how to use this thing or recommending thing, they're getting compensated to market this stuff to you. They may or may not be users of said thing. And that's the kind of information you will get in the Foundry. Like we will tell you straight up, this GHL dude is trying to sell you into his GHL system, and you could pay $97 a month and have your own. You don't need to buy it straight from him.
Right.
I don't want to blow up the business model, but that's kind of that's what's happening.
What you're paying for usually with guys that the gurus out there that sell GHL or go high level, you're usually paying for something that's been templated for your niche.
Yep.
So if you want it done for you and you don't mind paying for it, then that's your game there. And you don't want to set everything up and do all that, then that's where you get a benefit from them. But I know where Brian's where his head is the same as mine is like, I don't like people selling stuff that they pretend it's theirs when they're just reselling something.
Yeah.
If I resell something, I'll tell you straight up, and I tell my customers the same thing. And usually I don't charge them for it. Whatever it costs, I'm just passing the cost along to you. I'm not trying to upsell or resell you something. This is the tool. This is what it costs,
But
I think that's the more legit, righteous way to kind of, I don't know. That's to each his own, I guess, but I don't like it. It gives me the ick.
For me, I would, the way I would phrase it is, here's this thing. If you want me to set it up for you, here's how much it's going to cost for me to set it up for you. But once I set it up for you, it's yours.
Yeah.
And you're going to have to maintain it. And this is where you go to maintain it and all this other stuff. If you need me to do anything else with it, just give me a shout. But I know that, and like I said, we're blowing up people's business models. That's not what my intent is.
Right.
But what I'm saying is the tools are out there and they're available for everybody to use. You just need to figure out the one that makes sense for your pocketbook and implement it. And then once you master that one or get the maximum benefit out of it, then you upgrade. It's like buying a pickup truck, your intention is to pick up, I'm gonna buy this pickup truck and haul a bunch of stuff, right? But then you buy the pickup truck and you never haul anything in it. And now you're paying
stuff for everybody else.
Yeah. And you don't really need that much car for what you're trying to do. I think that's the rabbit hole people get into, and it's counterproductive.
And I think one thing we should touch on is I also understand, and I'm not blind to the fact that a lot of you out there that are business owners and not marketers or not content creators for your career, you don't have time to do this stuff for yourself.
Right.
And I know that's where some of this can lie at your feet, and you're going, well, "That's great. All this is great information, guys, but what if I don't have time to learn MailChimp. I don't have time to learn Lovable AI and build my own website. Where do we go?" Well, that's when you do go find somebody. I mean, if you're in the Foundry, there's people that do that, including myself and Brian and
Mhm.
stuff like that. That's when you do contact someone like us
Right.
and have us handle those things for you, because I understand that. But if you're grinding, you don't got the budget, and you want to just learn from the experience of both us, 40 years combined in marketing and operations and sales, and then other people that have, their boots on the ground where they got retail shops, they got online stores, they got whatever, they can teach you some stuff too. You can learn from each other that, oh, I've had that problem. Here's what I
Mhm.
did and it worked great for me. Um, I understand all that. So this is for me to like tie it back to the Foundry and say, right now we're trying to get, we're doing a launch special for the
Mhm.
Foundry where we're bringing on up to 10. We're saying 5 to 10,
Mhm.
and we're going to cap it at 10, I believe, of free accounts that help us build the Foundry up exactly like people want.
Yep.
That way, we're not guessing what you want. We're actually providing value day one. So that's everybody loves that word, and there's really no catch to this
Mhm.
other than showing up.
Yep.
If I give you a free account to join the Foundry and you don't show up, then you don't deserve to be there, and that's just the way it is. You know,
Well,
you get out what you put in, but we don't want tire kickers and people sitting around just looking, right?
yeah, because it takes like the equity you're gonna have to pay is effort. Like you come in and you participate and put the time in, and we will teach you how to be a marketer and how to market your business. But you got to show up, you got to engage and things along those lines. And that's what the Foundry is. Show up and engage. And you can and basically you jump in there and we will teach you the nuances and things that we've learned about marketing. Teach you some of the easier ways how to save yourself time and money with stuff. To tell when somebody's BSing you, you know, tell when a marketer is selling overselling you on something that you don't need.
Yeah.
Like we're here to do all that stuff for you, but you have to jump in and engage.
Mhm.
And I think that's what happens a lot of times. People will sign up for these things and then they just sit around and watch everybody else do it, and they are scared to ask questions and things along those lines. We want questions. We want dumb questions. There aren't dumb questions. We want questions about things that you don't know so that we can know how we can better serve you and help you.
100%. You succeed and means we succeed in this instance in the Foundry, and I don't pull punches. I know Brian doesn't either. Brian's gotten to know me a lot over the
Mhm.
last 6, 8 months or whatever, since I started getting my face back out there with networking and whatever. And I don't really pull punches. I am who I am.
Right.
I don't try to, and I bring that to this business aspect, right? I don't want to sit out there and claim I'm the realest man. I'm not that guy, but like I'll call your bullshit, and I
Yeah.
want you to call me on mine as well. Like uh, nothing gets done unless it's real,
Right.
right? Um, and an example of this is, and maybe I talked about it last week too, but like I was supposed to talk on my networking group last Tuesday, and I didn't. I decided last minute, I don't this whatever. I don't want to talk about my company right now.
Mhm.
I just want to help people. And I started thinking, you know, how heavy life just feels it seems like for everybody, right? And you were in that meeting,
Yes, I was.
and I kind of told everybody, just take 10 seconds here. Everybody put your phone down. Let's close our eyes 10 seconds. It sounds kind of woo woo, but it wasn't. I tried to portray it not like that. I just wanted everybody to relax for 10 seconds and
Mhm.
not think about anything. And the room was silent, and all of a sudden we were having a therapy session, a
Yeah.
business therapy session and a life therapy session, and it was great. And again, it wasn't woo woo. It's just like, I kind of really needed that. And that's also the kind of stuff you'll find in the Foundry where it's like, look, guess what? Like, I know the season's coming up where it's warmer in the mornings.
Mhm.
I am going to start rather than go to the gym, I'll go fish in the morning at 6 a.m. down at the pond,
Yep.
right? Just to clear my mind. And that's my moment every day to get clarity and before all the chaos starts, right?
Right.
And I believe people need that. And that's the kind of stuff in the Foundry that you can find too. It's not all numbers and this and that and money. Like, what's all the money do if you ain't happy?
Yeah.
You know?
We're trying to help you build a business that works for you.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times, because it is, you build a business that doesn't work for you, and then you're held captive by a job that you hate.
Mhm.
And there are points in this year where I had to sit back and look and say, I don't want to do this. And there are money opportunities I probably walked away from because I'm like, this is going to turn into a job that I don't want. And it's not the matter of, you know, if I'm going to choose to do something and it's hard, it better be something that I can enjoy. I can find some level of joy in, or find
Right.
some level of satisfaction in. But I'm not going to take on something that I despise, um, just because, and then make everybody in the house miserable and make myself miserable.
Right.
It's not worth it. And I think a lot of business owners have built these businesses where they feel like cages, where they never get a chance to escape. They're constantly devoting hours and hours to a business that's sometimes not making them enough money, and so they're
Right.
always on the hamster wheel. Sometimes it's not giving them enough time. It's not scaling enough, and things along those lines. And the Foundry can help you with that kind of stuff. And teach you the aspects of scaling, to teach you how to outsource some of this stuff, whether you need to hire somebody or whether the solution is available online,
Yeah.
in the form of an AI assistant or something along those lines. But you got to sign up first.
Yeah.
And that's where the freedom comes in. You have the choice to sign up and you have the choice to engage. We're giving you the opportunity. Come sign up and we can help you out.
Yeah. And you'll be seeing more from us. I'm getting a page together for them to sign up and kind of apply for the free ones.
Yep.
If you want to skip the line and you want to start paying now and you feel that feels good to you, feels right to you, we're down for that as well.
Yep.
The reality is here, we want to build it for people, not we want to build it with people and for them, not
Mhm.
just us making it up as, something we think a certain persona wants. That doesn't feel righteous and real to me. So,
Nope.
um, that's all I got today. It's another short one, I guess, but we're
Yeah.
we're we're all over the place and in a good way.
Value
And
packed.
yeah, value packed. Remember one thing. Wait, let me pull it up because I already forgot. Authentic transaction of value between you and your customer. That's what you need to focus on. Yeah, that's all I got.
All right. Well, that's all I got too, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Join the Foundry. If you're seeing this on Facebook, the link is in the link is in the comments. Once this goes live on YouTube, well, once I get it processed on YouTube, you'll see the link for the Foundry there too. But we appreciate you guys tuning in. We'll talk to you later. See you
Peace.
next week. Peace.